Central Avenue. 24-Hour Fitness came in. That's a major company. Crafts, we're very, very close. I think they actually have a lease right now, and they're going to announce a new occupant very, very, very soon. We are talking about Elmwood. That's a very, very major development, and is currently being reviewed. We were talking about the assisted living facilities, some which people object. So I could go, the Four Corners is going to be a major focus in terms of revitalization, because if we can revitalize the Four Corners and create good opportunities, it could be a model for other areas around the town. So those are just a few things that I could think of. We're working right now trying to find a tenant to occupy the best market.
This question is about hiring a professional who's going to bring businesses into the town. And a few questions ago I said that we need to do exactly this. And we need to do it as a shared service with the villages, to build trust between the villages, to show that we're all on the same team. The question also touches upon diversified revenue streams. One thing we haven't heard a lot about tonight are environmental initiatives, and we can accomplish both goals at the same time. There's something called a power purchasing agreement that you do with a solar developer, where over all of your government buildings, all of your school buildings, and many of your commercial buildings, working in partnership with commercial landlords, you can put many, many solar panels on top of all these buildings without spending any of our money at all. All the panels would be owned by the solar developer. This is one phenomenal way that we can earn $400,000 a year if we're putting solar panels on top of our commercial real estate, working in partnership with commercial landlords. When we do this, we will start to be sharing credits with the schools, sharing credits with the villages who will be buying electricity at a discounted rate. So you will see an impact on your school budget. And most importantly, it will transform the way that we think about town problems. When you think about Greenburgh, you don't think about bold initiatives that span the village and unincorporated. Implementing solar at this scale, which would be roughly 30 to 40 times bigger than the last solar initiative that the town accomplished with Solarized Greenburgh. We could do something so bold that will lead Westchester and put Greenburgh on the map in a way that we will wake up and be proud to live here.
Thank you, Mr. Trophy.
For the next question, we're going to take one that came from the audience. And Mr. Trophy will go first. Multiple areas of the town suffer from flooding due to overdevelopment. How will you address this flooding?
I think there's nothing the town can do to address this flooding because it requires massive investments in infrastructure. This has to come from state money. So the town government can't do anything on its own about it. It has to be very proactive in identifying and inventorying all the problems and then reaching out to get that state funding. So let's talk about inventory, just as a concept. So I'm coming in on an open government platform. That means you work in partnership with residents. There are probably so many flooding problems that the town does not yet even know about. We need to do a complete inventory of these problems. And while we're at it, we should also inventory sidewalks that need repair or need to be built, roads that need to be repaired. Harnessing the eyes, ears, feet of our residents who walk on these streets, see the flooding firsthand, let them report all these problems in an organized way that's not into the supervisor's email inbox. We have 90,000 people and we have one problem solver. That's not a system put in place to make our local government work more effectively. We need to inventory our problems. Flooding, just like the question, traffic problems, road problems, sidewalks that need to be built. Once we inventory the problems, we need a public process to prioritize them. And then we need to go hard after that grant money at the state level.
30 seconds.
What more to say about it? When we work in the open, we will catch our mistakes before they happen. by giving residents a voice before decisions are made. We can prioritize together, deliberate before we start breaking ground. Measure twice, cut once, do it in the open, in partnership with residents. All those things you thought about when I asked you, what does Greenburgh need? Those ideas need to get on the table, and they're not there yet.
Thank you, Mr. Chaffee.
Me? Relating to, just to follow up on the solar, Greenburgh was the first community in the Hudson Valley to put solar panels on the town hall, on a municipal building, and we've worked with Solarize Westchester in terms of promoting solarizing businesses. The planning board has required solar on some new buildings like I believe Starbucks. In terms of flooding, I'm more optimistic than you, and I think one of the reasons I'm optimistic is I feel I have the experience, and I have the connections, and I have the ability of getting results. There's a few things that we're doing. We're trying to we hired a consultant who is going to be doing an analysis of stormwater problems in the Four Corner section of the town, and we're going to listen carefully to their recommendations and try implementing their recommendations, and then using our connections and trying to get Washington and Albany to provide us with the funding that we need to address this important problem, because it's part of the whole Four Corners initiative, and we need to address flooding if we're going to be successful in that initiative. In terms of smaller projects, there's a lot of sections of the town that have flooding, and there's grant opportunities from the county and the state. So one of the thoughts that I had was we should try identifying smaller flood problems around the town, and then apply for grants to address some of these problems, one neighborhood at a time. I think that if we did that, and as a concerted effort, we might be, successful.
Thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Finer, you'll go first on this one. In the interest of time, since you only have 2 minutes, I'm not going to ask you to say 3 things. But what are the top things that you think the town is doing well and should continue doing? And then what could you change? Where's there an area for improvement?
Okay, well, I think we're a great town. We have an open government. We are fiscally in great shape. AAA bond rating, a 0% tax hike next year. We've always, unlike many other local governments, stayed under the tax cap. So I'm very, very proud of that. I think our recreation is fabulous. I think the police do a terrific job. Highway and sanitation are exceptional. We, in terms of these departments, I think services are really outstanding. Even the people in Edgewater who want to break away want to contract with us. If we were so big, why would they want to contract for our services? They'd want to do it on their own. But everybody thinks our services are good. In terms of going forward, I think that what we want to do is we want to look for ways to manage the town more efficiently by tightening up, by doing more internal reviews of different departments, because just because we run efficiently now doesn't mean we can't do better. And I'm committed to look for ways of reinventing the way the town is run, and to look for ways to make government as efficient as possible. That's why I'm excited about the Citizens Bid Committee, because it's doing it differently. In terms of other issues, the Four Corners and the Sacred Heart traffic safety initiatives are very, very important. I would like to see us use technology so we could do more with less. We have a sanitation truck. We were one of the first communities in Westchester, picks up garbage automatically, and we're using, instead of 3 people, 1 person.
Thank you.
In terms of what the town is doing well, By running for town supervisor, I've met so many police officers. I have such a high regard for Greenburgh Police. They do an amazing job. Highly professional. And by interacting with them as a candidate, it's striking how good they are. That you might, maybe the only time you see them, if something's going wrong in your house, they come and it's a bad day, but they really are stellar. They really are. I would also say snow removal, clearly. And one that I did not know a lot about growing up in Edgemont, because our neighborhoods are so disconnected, is the Department of Community Resources, Theodore D. Young Community Center. Next Monday, there'll be another forum there, hosted by the NAACP. And I think that it is a cultural jewel. It is one of a kind in Westchester. It is tremendous. And it's also an opportunity for us to, like my kids have swim lessons there. It is remarkable. There should be more of that, folks from Edgemont, Hartsdale, using the community center, building bridges one person at a time. The other half of the question is what needs to change. Mr. Feiner mentioned, well, town services are great. We don't know if they're great or not because all the complaints go into his email inbox. We are completely disempowered by seeing how long it takes to fill any specific pothole, how expensive projects are, water rehabilitation projects. There's no history of our major projects. You can't go online and find out the history of West Help, where we are losing $1.2 million in funding for affordable housing for single moms and their children. You can't go online to see the Underhill Road project and how it's now in its second year and it's close to freezing and people are getting water through a little blue tube to their homes. You don't know that because you don't happen to live on that street. So the bad services, where they are, it's not happening to you. The good and the bad need to be completely out in the open so that residents know whether when your town supervisor tells you that services are excellent, you should know it because you see it. But right now, everything is in an email inbox. We deserve better.
Thank you.
All right, we are at the final question. So we'll start with Supervisor Feiner. If I switch this off again. For closing comments, what makes you believe you are the best candidate?
Okay, in my opening comments, I outlined a broad vision for the town. In conclusion, I'd like to say how proud I have been to have had the privilege of serving the town of Greenburgh. I've been active in public service since high school when I successfully lobbied the county to close the Bronx River Parkway for bicycle Sundays and to build the first bikeway in Westchester County on the Bronx River Parkway. I established and ran the first bus service from Hartsdale to New York City to compete with the railroad before the county took it over. At that time, the trains weren't running efficiently. People were packed like sardines in the trains. The windows didn't open. They were always stuck. And I started a bus service from the Hartsdale, trains from Hartsdale to New York City. I also led a successful effort that resulted in women being admitted as members of a politically influential and prestigious club, the Scarsdale Town Club. I then ran for county legislator after I was named one of 6 national recipients of the Common Cause Public Service Achievement Award. That organization was the #1 open government organization probably in the country at that time, and I was named one of 6 recipients along with the chairman of the House of Representatives Rules Committee. I won the election and worked for a more open and transparent government. We purchased the Old Putnam Trail and turned it into the South County and North County Bike Trail. As town supervisor, we've done an awful lot. We've expanded our parks from 200 acres to 600 acres. Our credit rating went up 3 times since I've been town supervisor to the highest rating any municipality could get, AAA rating, which only 1% of the communities in the nation have. We purchased a new town hall that cost the developer over $12 million to build. And what did we do? We got it for $6.8 million. We have approved more affordable housing throughout the town. And one of the things I'm really proud of is that we were one of the few local governments that was not ordered by the federal government to build 750 affordable new homes. And the reason we were exempt from this lawsuit and we saved a lot of money and a lot of aggravation is because the town was proactive. We've been building affordable housing throughout the town, not because we're forced to, but because we want to, and we've been able to do it with community involvement and community participation. We just, last week, West Hope is going to be affordable senior citizen housing. We've turned foreclosed properties in the villages into affordable housing. There's one in Hastings on Warburton Avenue, for example. Another one, the old water wheel property in Ardsley is now affordable housing. We built playgrounds. We started a food scrap recycling program. We're working with the villages to have food scrap curbside pickup. We've addressed infrastructure. We've kept taxes below the tax cap, and we've also reduced the workforce in sanitation from 48 people to 43. At the same time, we're increasing recycling to, instead of every other week, it's paper and commingles is every week. Now, we closed down illegal massage parlors. Every one of the legal massage parlors is now closed. We've attracted major businesses to the town like Regeneron. We've obtained millions of dollars for more sidewalks and safety improvements. And we got Metro North to build a new elevator at the train station. We are a diverse community with different cultures living and working together. What I think I bring to the table is I have experience and I have connections. And I know how to get Washington to listen, and I know how to get Albany to listen, and I know how to get the county to listen. And I believe that in the next 2 years, we're going to be able to address the major and the minor problems facing the town. I like helping people one-on-one. That's what I really enjoy doing. But at the same time, I've never neglected doing the major issue, working on the major issues that...
Mr. Chaffee, please take 5 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. Feiner talks about how he can get Albany to listen. But he can't get Edgemont to listen, and Edgemont's eventually going to incorporate that will raise everyone's taxes. We need to build bridges. We need to do things differently than how we've been doing. We need to start thinking as a town about our toughest challenges, which include tax control, sharing services, and also making bold progress on climate. Can we just wait another 2 years on climate? Can we just sit where we are? Or should we try something that is 30 times bigger than the last time Greenburgh did solarize Greenburgh without it having to cost us anything because it's a public-private partnership and we're starting to think differently? When you look at 2 men, it's only men, unfortunately. When you look at 2 men sitting here, and you say, who's the best candidate? You're asking yourself the wrong question. What is the best system to run Greenburgh? We know what the current system is. It's one man in the middle, who I firmly believe is doing his best because he truly wants to help people. He is doing his best answering emails at all hours of the day. He will always call you back. This system does not scale for 90,000 people. Let's look around in this room. How many people don't look like me and live in Hartsdale, live in Fairview, are not here tonight because they're not engaged, they're not notified? This is the first general election that is competitive in 12 years. But they're not here. We have to think about the people that are not here. What are the obstacles that prevent them from engaging? Poverty in Greenburgh is now almost 5% it has increased 18% in the last 6 years, while across the country, poverty has decreased 18%. Poverty for seniors in Greenburgh is almost 8%. These are US Census Bureau stats. Things are not okay for everyone, and they're not okay for the middle class that is feeling the squeeze even more. We hear about a AAA bond rating. From Mr. Finer's own calculations, a AAA bond rating saves us $1.09. It has no impact on our lives, but we hear about it as if everything is okay because only 1% of the communities have this. It's okay because taxpayers are solvent. That's the primary reason. Financial planning at the town level helps, but yet we don't even have a financial plan that looks out 5 years. The village of Ardsley, which is much smaller, has that 5-year capital plan. There are no surprises in Ardsley because they can plan. When a vital vote comes about a school, other issues with lack of planning on courthouse and police station do not interfere with the future of our children. It's not two people sitting up here. It's two systems. The other system that we can implement, and it's not me, it's we. It won't work unless we implement it together. It's inventorying our problems, using a data-driven approach, sharing as much information with our town as possible, asking you, do you think our list of priorities is correct? Are these the sidewalks we need to build, or are we missing something? That's how we build software. That's how we should build code at the town level. We have brilliant people in Greenburgh. We are not tapping our collective potential. We have beautiful computer lab at the Theodore D. Young Community Center in Fairview. On the weekends, in the evenings, it's dark. We don't have people stepping forward with their skills to connect to the need. We need to start thinking like a town about our most difficult
30
problems.
seconds.
When we think of Greenburgh, do we think of a bold and bright future, or do we feel, wow, the taxes here are very high, and I'm kind of concerned about that, and I don't see it getting any better? Well, let's try something different. Let's open up the budget. Let's make tax control work at the town level so that all taxing authorities in Westchester, and especially in Greenburgh, can say, we can open up like Greenburgh did, and we can save money. Let's work together. Two systems.
Thank you, Mr. Chaffee.
Thank you for your time. You got it.